channel. My name is Nia, or Nini C. You can call me whichever one you want. And you are watching Be Encouraged. So today, we're still on the relationship topic. Last video, I talked about, being single and how it's okay to be single and, wait until you're ready to date. So now, today, we're just going to have a few little gems, about when you're ready to date, how to go about that and make sure that you're finding the right one if that's what you're trying to do. So I have a special guest here, the doctrine, okay? Okay, you want to introduce yourself really fast?
Sure, I guess I can do that. Greetings, salutations, and all that wonderful stuff. My name is Jesse. Now she's gonna be mad because I don't call myself pastor.
No,
I
pastor.
am pastor, but Jesse is just on my birth certificate, so that's me.
All right, so today, like I said, we're going to talk about relationships and when you're ready to get in. The reason why I chose Pastor Jesse to help, he really brought me up. When I say, I met him and his wife when I was 14 or 15. But I'm 21 next Sunday.
Don't make me feel old. I already feel old.
It was a while ago. But ever since then, it's just I've learned so much, so much. So I know that he has some, good advice for us today. So I'm going to start by asking you, okay, how do you, when people are ready to date,
Mm-hmm.
what would you suggest that they do to make sure that they're really finding the right person? Because, of course, there are a lot of people out there, and it's okay, well, he's cool or she's cool, but how do they make sure this is, the one that I should try?
Okay, so find the right one. The first key to me is you got to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Because this person can be fine, they can be all of that, they can have the muscles, they can have the thighs, the hips, 24, 36, all that stuff. They have the good job, talk good, look good, all of that, and still not be right for you because you don't know you. There's certain things about you that will make you compatible to someone else. Here is the extreme example. For y'all who don't know me, y'all know who I is. For y'all who don't know me, I ain't the normal kind of dude. So I'm gonna say some outrageous stuff. Just walk with me for it. So one of the things I said, for me, is I need a strong woman. I can't have no weak women. What I mean by weak is I talk violent. Anybody who knows me, who's real close to me, knows I have a violent vernacular. So I'll say things like, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to rip open your chest and expose your vital organs to daylight. I need a woman who's not going to be oh no. I need a woman who's if you try that, I'm going to lock you in a porta potty, light you on fire, and throw you down the Grand Canyon. Okay. I mean, it's something like that. So you need to know yourself first, and we don't take the time enough to know ourselves. So once you begin to know yourself, know some of the things that you like and that you don't like, some of the things you look for beyond the surface level. We go way too surface as it relates to dating. We talk about, well, I want him to be nice. Well, what's nice to you?
Right.
I want him to be funny. What's the funny sense of humor? I laughed at some old people who fell down the escalator at an elevator. Because, at the airport, they were walking down the escalator. The wife was behind the husband. Her suitcase hit the husband's leg. He fell. His suitcase went up in the air. His clothes went everywhere. And all I could hear in my head is, I've fallen, but I can't get up. And that, to me, was hilarious. For most of y'all, that's not funny. So I had to kind of do it for you because I got the worst type of sense of humor for you. Things like that.
Okay. So how do you feel about, all right, is it possible for two people to successfully date or be together and stay together if they have two different beliefs? On a serious topic. So, for example, it could be wanting kids or not wanting kids, or moving out of state, not moving out of state. Or you feel like everything else is fine with that person, and then they say that, should you just be
It really all depends on how big of a deal breaker it is for you. There's a lot of things you can work past. And I know my churchy friends go, well, the Bible says be not unequally yoked. Yeah, we'll probably get to that. The way you thinking about it is not how the Bible means it. So if you want to move out of state and I don't, there's going to be some issue and conflict concerning it. But it depends on either how bad you want to move or how bad I don't. How bad do you really want kids? How bad do they not? That's the communication portion of it. Almost everything can be worked on. Is it better to try to deal with somebody who has those same things in mind? Yes, it is much easier, but the reality is that you're not always going to find somebody who meets and ticks every box. And if you walked away from every person who doesn't tick every box, you will probably never find someone. Every kind of relationship, I said there's two types of problems. There are problems that are character issues and problems that are characteristic issues. A character issue is something that's ingrained in a person. This is not going to change. They have been this way. It's like a seed that's been planted and grown this great big tree that's bearing fruit. A characteristic issue, however, is something that a person has learned. It's kind of a personality trait. Your personality evolves over time. Your personality changes over time. It's like your taste buds. I used to like Spam. I hate Spam now. I put Spam in front of me. Taste buds evolve. Same thing with characteristic issues. If kids or moving or whatever the issue is, it's a characteristic issue, it can work. Because either that person can adapt their characteristic issue, or you can adapt your characteristic issue and make it work and y'all meet in the middle. If it's a character issue, huge problem. And you have to decide how much of an issue is their character that will never change. This person will never want kids. There's nothing that's ever going to make them want kids. So can I deal with that? Can I deal with never being a parent? If you say you can't, walk away. It's not
Okay, so how would they determine if it's character or characteristic?
Okay. That's actually a good question. I've never been asked that question before. So I would say first just start talking to them. Find out how deep this thing is in them. If it's deep, like this is a thought that they have always had, this is a character issue. If this is a thought that has come on over time, it's most likely a characteristic issue. Now, characteristic issues can wind up becoming character issues. But if you talk with them and some event happened, and this is why they don't want kids, or this is why they don't want this thing, it's a characteristic issue, and you can help guide them through that, and the process help guide yourself through that. But if, for example, for you it's a character issue, and for them it's a characteristic issue, yes, you can probably guide them to it, but you're probably going to want to guide them towards you. If they don't come all the way towards you, it still can be a problem. But the communication of it helps.
Okay. One was like, how do you feel about two different faiths, or even if if they're both Christian or they're both Muslim, they're both whatever, but it's differing like specifics for each of them. So one person may think, well, I believe in God, or I believe in a higher being, and then the other person is like, well, Jesus. So you feel like, no, and then it becomes a lot when the person puts it on their back and says, let me try to get them to my side, or the other person, let me try to get them to my side. So what would you say?
I would say, to me, it's not worth it. And the reason it's not worth it is this reason here. The two of you are going to have a very, very hard time finding common ground on how to deal with issues in your relationship. Whether you're talking boyfriend, girlfriend, or marriage, or whatever, you're going to have a hard time because you're coming from one perspective, and faith shapes your perspective. They're coming from their perspective, and their faith shapes theirs. And if you're coming from two totally different faiths that shape your perspective, you're almost never going to agree. Christians in general, we always believe we're right. Our Bible is right, Jesus is right, and that's it. Muslims believe they right. Jesus ain't the Son of God, he's just a Messiah. Women need to be in your place, and this is how we run. Jews are the same way, Buddhists are the same way, Scientologists are the same way. So if you have this stubbornness, for lack of a better way to put it, grounded in your faith, and you're trying to bring someone else's faith in, it's going to cause all kinds of chaos. There have been examples of it working, but to me, it's just not worth the headache. It just really isn't. The manner in which you're going to approach things is going to divide the house. And then if you wind up getting married and having children, it's going to divide the house even more. Because then how do you raise your children? Are they going to mosque on Saturday and church on Sunday? And what happens when the pastor on Sunday says something that's contrary to what they believe on Saturday? Where do they go?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we talked about this before, like in class, when I was in this class, youth class, whatever.
Still making me feel
old. Should the person you're with, I know the answer, but I just want you to tell them, should the person you're with be held responsible for your happiness. So like some people say, oh, I'm with this person because they make me happy, or well, I can't leave him because he does make me happy, or she does make me happy.
Oh, no, you should not. And it is the worst bit of pressure you could ever try to put on yourself, to become responsible for someone else's happiness. I can't make you happy. I can contribute to your happiness, and I should do everything in my power to contribute to your happiness. But happiness is perception based. It is situational. I don't control the situations in your life. I don't control how you see something. Give you a great example. People in relationships, especially in stereotypical relationships, they go through this all the time. So I think you look great, and you don't think you look great, and I tell you you're beautiful. And the first thing you say is, no, I'm not, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. Nothing I have said that should have made you feel pleased worked because of how you perceive yourself. So no matter how much I talk about, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, nothing is going to make you feel better until you see yourself differently. The same thing with your happiness. It's your responsibility to make yourself happy. Because if you say to someone, I love you because you make me happy, well, what about the days that they piss you off? Do you no longer love them now? What about the days that everything hasn't gone great? You stop loving them? I love you because you make me laugh. Well, I ain't gonna make you laugh all the time, so now what? We ain't gonna always agree, so now what? So no, you are never responsible. Young, especially y'all young folk who are here, because I know more young people listen to your broadcast than mine. Let's stop putting that pressure on yourselves. Young ladies, please stop putting that pressure on these young men to make you happy. And young men, please stop putting this pressure on these young women that they need to make you happy, or you're responsible for their happiness. That's not your job.